Mindfulness Project family, welcome to the Advent Calendar Day 14. Today is storytelling time. A story about mudita, sympathetic joy or shared joy. I call it shared joy because especially today's story is about sharing, or how sharing is increasing our joy and our happiness. This story is from Africa. There are different versions in the internet of this story. And I'm not completely sure if this story is true or not, if it really happened. But the meaning of this story is so beautiful and it's deeply touching my heart. And I think the message is what counts. And so I like to read this story to you. And yes, lean back and enjoy. So let me tell you this little story. It's a short story. There was an anthropologist who had been studying the habits and culture of a remote African tribe. He had been working in the village for quite some time, and the day before he was to return home, he put together a gift basket filled with delicious fruits from around the region and wrapped it in a ribbon. He placed the basket under a tree. And then he gathered all the children from the village. The man drew a line in the dirt, looked at the children and said, "When I tell you to start, run to the tree, and whoever gets there first will win the basket of the fruits." So when he told them to run, they all took each other's hands and ran together to the tree. Then they sat together around the basket and enjoyed the fruits together. The anthropologist was shocked or maybe surprised. He asked, why would all go together when one of them could have won all the fruits for themselves? A young girl looked up at him and said, "How can one of us be happy if all the others are sad?" I think this is so beautiful, and the deepest, if we look to our deepest nature, it is so, so true. But to really feel this deep truth, we need to kind of dive deep into our true essence and nature. It's so much covered up, and we're so much conditioned into competition instead of collaboration. And so I love this story so much. You can see it's really touching me. And I think what is touched inside of me is a deep yearning and longing, and like to really feel like this. And the idea of like, if we would have learned this at school, how different would the world look like if this would be what we learn at school, how to share and collaborate together. That would change the world like big time. And if our individual gifts, if we use them for the sake of the whole community, not to get the best out for us, and then we live good, but how to use our gifts that are given to us because we are different from each other. We have different gifts that we bring in here, but all these gifts, like the basket with the fruits, all the different fruits together make this beautiful looking basket, and all our different gifts that we bring into this world create like the beauty in our community. And if we like can learn how to share this together, I mean, we would not need to have like the envy or jealousy or anger or fear. It would create like this connectedness. We would live in this interconnectedness, what is the underlying web of our being, because actually I cannot do anything that is not affecting the whole world. I cannot live as a separate entity from this world. It is not possible. Whatever I do, it makes ripples into the world. Whatever you do, make ripples into the world. That's why I feel like mindfulness and awareness is so important to have this in our life, to become really aware of what I'm doing and why I'm doing, what is the intention that I bring into this world, and what will then be the outcome, and is it in only my best interest, or is it in the interest of the greater good, of the greater community. And it's really important. I think what it will also lead to, or what the essence is, that if we feel interconnectedness, it will, if I win, there will be a win-win situation. It means the whole community, we all together win. Whoever wins, the whole community wins together with them. And I think if we have the law of interconnectedness, only a group of people winning and getting all will lead to suffering. The whole, even the one who have a lot, will suffer, because they see, sometimes, we get a lot of money or a lot of wealth because we take it from the others. Maybe we don't pay good enough. Maybe we take resources from a different country and not pay the fair price. And so there's a chain of how we act with each other. It creates suffering. And the one who is taking this needs to kind of shut down the heart, to not feel, not be aware kind of what the result is, the effect. And that means I lose my heart, I lose my love. What is life? It's sad. What is life without that? And so I think something to learn to really reconnect with is this interconnectedness, and to see how much joy and happiness it creates to share. And to go and reach there, I think we need to also open our hearts to suffering in the world. That's something I really learned on the spiritual path, that before I also tried to run after the superficial more happiness, and it's fine to experience that. But this is not the deeper meaning and a sense of life for me. And so when I wanted to go to the deeper meanings, I really had to face suffering and to be open my heart to suffering, to lose the fear of suffering, because the suffering will bring the big change. If I can feel, like I know when I was traveling and seeing like the destruction of the earth, the big holes we sometimes dig into the earth, it looked like wounds for me. And then the cutting of the forest, and in the mountains you could see the landslides, how like the surface of the earth was destroyed, like it's the skin that we have, and I would feel it so much as a living entity. And maybe this is a very romantic view, but for me it touched something inside of me. And actually that brought me to the place here, to have the project and to have the wish to do something for this earth, to give back to our mother. So my way of doing it is that, because I feel very connected with forest, with trees, was that I want to plant forest. I want to give back. And I know if I plant forest, it's not my forest, it's a forest for the whole planet. If it's planted in Thailand, it is in Thailand, but for me it belongs to the whole humanity of the world. It's shared, like whatever benefits are created by forest will be for everyone. So what I found out from my life is that I cannot take anything with me when I'm going, but I can leave something here for the next generations. And I think for me this is one part of how to live Ubuntu, that I am because we are. Or another way to say it, I am what I am because of who we all are. And to feel this interconnectedness even over generations. And this gives me a big responsibility, but not a burden. a responsibility that can guide me into the meaning of life and to fulfill this meaning. To give my energy, my love, my heart into this. Yeah, I think this is what I take out of the story. And you can see what you will take out of the story and what is Ubuntu for you and how to live Ubuntu in this world and what would change in this world if you would have Ubuntu, like the feeling of interconnectedness, the deep, if it would be really ingrained in our heart, not just knowing by our mind, but really knowing from our heart that we are all connected and interconnected, and whatever we do, think and say matters for all. It creates the world we are in. We have to be so aware and that we are creators of this world. It's not just happening to us. Even there are many things, because we all together create, so even maybe some corners, things are created that we feel like, wow, it's out of our control. But still, we are part of this creation. And are we brave enough and are we conscious enough to create what we think is valuable? This is also a question for me that comes from Ubuntu. What is it? What is valuable for me? What do I want to create? And can I allow myself to follow this? Even maybe some people would say, that's over romantic, because what I like is, I really want to find a way to the heart. I want to find a way to true love. And even to this Ubuntu, to feel this interconnectedness on a deep level, and so deep that it will guide my actions. Not that I just understand it. I want it to be the guide of my actions. Yeah, so reflect on what is your Ubuntu, and I think Christmas time is a beautiful time for this, to think about the community, because we come together in our small community often, in our families. Sometimes some people meet more with their friends for Christmas, but there's something that connects us and something that we share the time together to create beauty. And because Christmas and this calendar is kind of inspired by the Christian background that we are coming from, I like to have a little story about Jesus. It's not a story, it's just a saying from Jesus, that is saying, whatever someone will do to my brothers or sisters, he or she will do to me, to myself. And the brothers and sisters are all humanity. We are the children of this planet Earth. We are all brothers and sisters. We are children of the one great consciousness that is expressing through all of us. So, and it means that interconnectedness means really to feel and sense the other. Like what I said in the live stream about the pain of Christian's foot, that our friend Ajahn, the monk, would feel, and said, if you have pain, I have pain. And he took care of Christian's foot and was like, if you are happy, I am happy. So he's not afraid of this feeling of melting with another person, because he's not losing himself in that. Sometimes we're afraid that we lose ourselves in that. No, the individual, our character is still there, but is so much more connected with the other, and we will act in a different way if we really allow ourselves to feel the other. So for me, like, one message is that we much more should invite ourselves to connect with our hearts, act from our hearts, and let this be the guide in our life. So enjoy your beautiful Christmas time, enjoy connecting with your heart, and enjoy doing something for community. Have a beautiful time. Thank you for listening, and see you soon. Bye bye.